The cop at my car window said, "Ma'am, you're listed as a missing person in a report that was filed 7 years ago." I stared at him. That has to be a mistake. I'm not a missing person. But he was already turning his laptop around so I could see the screen. There was my name, Natalie, my exact birthday, and a photo of my face from years ago with big red letters across the top that read "Active Missing Persons Case." "Officer, this has to be some kind of system error. I've been living in the same apartment for 2 years. I have a job, I pay my bills. None of that is possible if I'm a missing person." He pointed at the screen. "This report says you're 19 years old and disappeared at age 12 from a town about 5 hours from here." I shook my head. "I'm 25. I've been 25 since March. There's no way I'm 19. The officer topped the file. "There's a birth certificate attached to this report, and it says you were born 19 years ago." I told him that wasn't right because my mom had my birth certificate at home and I'd seen it with my own eyes. He asked if I had a copy on me or anything that could prove my date of birth other than the license he was holding. I didn't have a copy. I'd never needed one. Mom always kept all the important documents in a lockbox in her closet, said it was safer that way, and I never questioned it. My hands were starting to shake. I can prove I'm not some missing kid. I went to high school and graduated, class of 2019. You can look it up. The officer typed in the high school name, waited, and when he looked back up at me, something in his face changed. "There's no record of you ever being enrolled at that school and no record of you graduating." That didn't make sense. I remembered high school. I remembered friends, hallways, and graduation day. But when I tried to picture the details like my teachers' names or what classes I took, everything got blurry, like trying to remember a dream 2 days later. "Schools lose records all the time," I said, but my voice was shaking now and I couldn't stop it. He scrolled further into the file. "The missing person report says you were last seen leaving a middle school at 12 years old wearing a blue jacket and carrying a backpack." Something cold ran through my whole body because I had a blue jacket in my back seat right now. I'd had it for as long as I could remember and told people I got it in high school, but I couldn't actually remember buying it or anyone giving it to me. It was just always there. The officer pulled up another screen. The FBI generated an age progression photo 2 years ago to show what the missing girl would look like today. He turned it toward me and my heart stopped. It was my face. Not similar, not close. My exact face with the same jawline, same eyebrows, and the same little scar on my chin. I pressed my back into the seat like I was trying to get away from the screen. "That could be anyone," I whispered, but I didn't even believe myself. He kept scrolling. "The report was filed by a woman named Allison, who is listed as your mother." I shook my head so hard it hurt. "My mom's name is Janice. She raised me my entire life. I don't know anyone named Allison." The officer kept reading. "Allison has contacted police over 400 times in 7 years. She has never stopped looking for you." He paused on something and read it silently before saying it out loud. "The last note Allison left with investigators says she won't know she's missing. Whoever took her will give her a new name and a new age, and she'll believe every word of it." My whole body went cold. I thought about every document I'd ever needed in my life and realized Mom had handled all of it. Every form, every signature, every record. I'd never held my own birth certificate. I'd never seen a single baby photo of myself. I grabbed my phone and started scrolling back through my camera roll because if I was really 25, then somewhere there had to be a photo from childhood, from middle school, from anywhere. But the oldest photo on my phone was from the week I moved into my apartment. Before that, there was nothing. No birthdays, no holidays, nothing. I always told myself they got lost when Mom switched phones and never thought about it again. The officer watched me and then said quietly, "I have to make a call." He dialed a number from the file and put it on speaker. It rang 4 times. A woman picked up and said, "This is Allison. Is there news about my daughter?" And when I heard her voice, something broke open in my head. A memory hit me. I was 4 or 5, lying in bed, and a woman was tucking the blanket under my chin and whispering goodnight. She had the same voice as the woman on the phone, not the woman who had been raising me for years. The officer asked me to follow him to the station. I said yes, but not because I believed him. I said yes because I was completely sure that once I sat down with the full case file, I could point to the mistake. There had to be one. A mixed-up social security number, a database glitch, some kind of wrong entry that got my name attached to someone else's life. That's what I told myself the entire drive over. Inside, the cop brought me to a small room with a table and 2 chairs and a laptop already open. He sat across from me and turned the laptop so we could both see the screen. And then he started walking me through the case file, not the summary I'd seen on the side of the road, the full thing. He went piece by piece, slow, like he wanted to make sure I caught everything. The missing person report was filed 15 years ago in a town about 5 hours east of where we were sitting. Attached to the report was a photo, not the age progression one he'd already shown me. This was a real photo of a real little girl, maybe 4 years old, with messy hair and big eyes and a scar on her chin. The same scar, the exact same spot. I touched my own chin without even thinking about it. My fingers found the little raised line of skin I'd had my whole life, the one I never really thought about because it was just part of my face. The officer watched me do it and didn't say a word. He just kept going. The report lists 7 addresses across 7 different states in 15 years, he said. Every time Allison got close, the trail went cold and a new address popped up somewhere else. 7 states. I tried to count the places I'd lived growing up, and I could only come up with a few off the top of my head. But the more I thought about it, the more I remembered boxes. Always boxes. Mom packing things in the middle of the night sometimes, telling me we were going on an adventure, telling me the new place would be better. Going on an adventure. Mom was literally running from the feds and sold it to her kid like they were going on a road trip, packing bags in the middle of the night, telling her the new place would be better. No, that's not optimism. That's a woman who had her story rehearsed and ready to go. Actually insane. I always thought we moved a lot because she couldn't find the right job or because rent was too high. I never thought about it harder than not. I asked the officer about records, job records, school records, anything that would show a normal life during all those moves, anything that would prove Mom was just a regular mom who moved around a lot and nothing else. He shook his head. No employment history under the name Denise until 3 years ago. No school enrollment records for you at any of the 7 locations. Whoever moved you around kept you off the grid. The room felt like it tilted sideways. I grabbed the edge of the table. I remembered being homeschooled, long stretches of it, sometimes a year or more at a time. Mom always said the local schools weren't good enough, that she could teach me better at home, that I was too smart for what they were offering. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was my mom. She sat me at the kitchen table and went through workbooks and made flashcards and quizzed me on state capitals. That was real. I remember it being real. But now I was sitting in a police station looking at a screen that said none of it was official. No records, no transcripts, no proof that any of those kitchen table lessons ever counted for anything in the eyes of anyone but the 2 of us. The officer pulled up one more thing. A blurry image from a security camera. It was from a grocery store parking lot dated 15 years ago. The picture was grainy and washed out the way old security footage always is, but you could make out a woman walking fast toward a car. She was holding the hand of a small girl in a blue jacket. The woman's face was turned away from the camera so you couldn't see her features, but her posture, the way she carried her shoulders a little hunched forward like she was always bracing against wind that wasn't there, the way she leaned slightly to the left when she walked, like one leg was just a tiny bit shorter than the other. I would recognize that walk anywhere. I had walked behind that woman through parking lots and grocery stores and shopping malls for as long as I could remember. It was Mom. I couldn't speak. I just stared at the screen, at the blurry parking lot photo, at the little girl in the blue jacket whose hand was held so tight her arm was stretched straight.
That little girl didn't get a choice. She didn't get to decide who picked her up or where she went or what name she would grow up answering to. And I didn't have the right to walk away from her without at least hearing the full story. So I stayed. I sat in that hard chair under those ugly lights and I waited for a woman named Allison to drive 2 hours to meet a daughter she hadn't seen in 15 years. While I sat there trying to hold together a life that was coming apart at every single seam. Allison got there about 2 hours later. I saw her before she saw me. There was a glass partition between the hallway and the room I was sitting in, and I watched her walk through the front entrance with the cop meeting her at the door. She was shorter than I expected. I don't know why that mattered, but it did. In my head, the woman from the phone call was tall, confident, someone who filled up a room. But Allison was small. Her shoulders were pulled in tight and her hands were shaking so bad I could see it from where I was sitting. She was holding a manila folder pressed against her chest with both arms wrapped around it like it was the only thing keeping her together. I studied her